Oh, what is up, my people? My One Piece Nakamas. We got a slobber knocker for this one here. This is round six, and we have no stranger to top tables. The man who came number two at, at NA Nats, Jonas Abraham, on Sakazuki today, taking a break from Enel. And we got Arnold Nabadan, who we saw earlier on Sakazuki when he was playing in round four against Whitebeard, but he is no stranger to top tables either. The man with 20 YCS tops. Very, very competitive players in this round six here. Um, it's going to be interesting to see how they both play it in. Man, they are starting tried and true to Sakazuki with the turn one Tashigi, just a search for the Navy card and add it to hand. Um, man, and here we see how a great eruption coming out there just to draw the card, just to dig a little bit deeper. So here we see brand new coming down. Getting that search there. Now, decisions, decisions, decisions. What to take? Just going to take the Arakumo sword here, just adding it to hand. And fueling up the trash very, very nicely. So here we're going to see a 6K swing and just an instant take there, going over to the 4 Dawn turn. And as you guys, if you guys know anything about the metagame, this is literally going to boil down to who sees what and what can stay on board. Just dropping the 4 cost Kuzan and just passing over it. So it's just going to be straight because you got to get to late game here. Late game is where things are made. You got to gecko dance, and it's going to boil down to who sees how many geckos and who has the removal for it. And you see here everything just going down. Everything just going down to the trash here. So you're gonna see a lot of similar cards, obviously, because it's the mirror. Not much to talk about because we know how the deck plays. It's just a matter of who sees what. And here we see both of them going to the bottom of the deck here. And man, so here we're just gonna see a 5K swing here. Just getting -1 on the leader side of things. Onto that Hina. And then another Kuzan coming down just to draw another card and just passing it right over. Using leader ability trash Hina. And then just going to Hound Blaze to bottom deck the Hina. And that's what you want to do. You want to bottom deck that Hina. Don't put that to trash because you know that can come back off of like Gecko and stuff like that and Rebecca as well. And just trying to get these Kuzans to stick on board. And then boom, the 7 cost Borsalino just coming straight down and getting rid of the Kuzan again. So still not going to trash. And it's just a back and forth of just bottom decking. So just going to use leader effect to trash T-Bone here. Gonna be a 5K swing here, -1 to the Borsalino. 8 Dawn available, so this could potentially be a Gecko turn here, and there's a lot of targets in. Yonas has been here to get, but it seems like it's not just yet. Gonna have some other form of removal. So using the Tashigi here just to do a little searching. Gonna add, it seems like a Hell Meppo to hand. And then it's just a way of how am I going to get rid of this now 6 cost Borsalino off the board. So adding Arakumo sword to hand. Hina coming down -4, so that's -5. Rob Lucci popping both the Toshigi and the Borsalino, having to add 3 back. So adding brand new Hound Blaze and a Great Eruption to the bottom of the deck, just passing it over. So now still 2 bodies on board. And now, what's the retaliation here? I'm gonna use the leader ability, pitching that Hino. That's just so much value, just being able to draw that 1 card. It doesn't seem like much, but over time it basically pays for itself, especially with all the recursion that you get. Just making sure the Dawn is right there. Didn't have the 2 Dawn, so it should be at 9 Dawn. It was only at 7, so all right, so gonna Great Eruption here. Just gonna see the target. Probably gonna be that Rob Lucci. Bring that down to 2. Trying to get both down too low so you can either Arakuma Sword or you do a Rob Lucci of your own. So Yonas just gonna take the hit here. And here we see the first Gecko coming down. So Gecko dancing time, boys. Rob Lucci coming down. Helmeppo coming down. Helmeppo is going to -4 and basically KOing both. A straight value, and now the board is established. Now it's up to Jonas to do the Gecko dance back, because that's what it's going to boil down to here. In this mirror, we've we've gone through this at Niagara, and we're going through it here. Gecko dancing is how you win the matchup. So I believe that is 8. And here we see the Gecko dance. Boom, boom, double -9. And now we're just going to see a Hound Blaze to Hound Blaze the Gecko Moria, putting it to the bottom. Yep. Um, with the Gecko Moria effect, you should be able to put uh, either one in rest, if I recall correctly. Just going to double check the wording on Gecko Moria here, but I believe you are able to put the 4 cost rested and then the other one standing. It's you get to choose. Yep, so it is choose up to 1 character with a cost of 4 or less and one up to with 2 or less, and then you can play 1 card and then the other card rested. So you can choose the Lucci to come in rested and then the Helmeppo standing, which is the better course because Helmeppo is pretty weak, so he can just be swung over. And here you see a Gecko number 2. So that's the back to back to back. So some KO going to be happening here. So you're going to see Tachigi search out of here to add a Navy card and then resolve the Rebecca ability to add the card to hand and then play a 3 cost. So you can play a Hina here, potentially minusing the either the other Hina on board, or you can minus the Gecko Moria. Yeah, yep. So here we see the Hina coming down. It's going to be a -4. So now putting that Gecko Moria down to 4. Gonna use a leader and swing, minusing the Hina, putting the Hina down to 2. Now Helmepo is going to come in with a swing here. This is a 5K swing. Trying to get another card out of hand. He's going to take this 5K swing here, thinking if he wants to trigger it. And deciding not to. And now this is just going to be a 6K swing with Rob Lucci and just easily Suru 2K counter. No problem there. So 2 life left on Sakazuki with a Rebecca blocker. So Rebecca's still pretty fragile just because she's only a 4 cost. So Great Eruption plus Leader Swing, you can do some shenanigans and get rid of a bunch of the bodies that are currently on board. Opponent still has quite a few. Arnold still has quite a few cards in hand, so I don't think he can. Yonas can make a game push here, but definitely have to think about it though, just in case. Maybe there's a line there or not. Taking that little bit of extra time, doing that thinking, fanning out the grave, see what is still left in grave and what you can potentially see off this leader draw here. Also have to make the decision of what you want to put in the bin right now, especially if you don't have the other gecko in hand. But here we see he does. It looks like he does have the other gecko. So let's see here what Yonas decides to do. So gonna pitch the Arakuma sword, draw 1 card. So this is going to be a 5K swing onto Hina, it looks like. He's going to 1K counter out, not 1 card, protect that Hina. Don't want it to go to the bin, especially if you don't have the gecko in hand, but usually in these matchups they always have it. So going to swing 9K into Rob Lucci. Just going to use a Rebecca to block here. All right, so we have 1 for the Great Eruption, drawing the card, and minusing 2 probably on Gecko Moria here. But do you try to -2 and try to get more off the board? Or do you focus on the big 9K swing, or do you just leave it alone? These little micro decisions here are what you kind of have to do. These can definitely make or break your game. So, gonna -2 to the Hina. Gonna swing swing 5 into the Hina, seeing if I can, Yonas can get an extra card out of Arnold's hand. And then minusing 1 to the Gecko, so it looks like he's aiming for both the Hina and the Gecko. Maybe has another Arakumo sword in hand. We've only seen 1, and usually lists run 3. Do you give him the extra card, or do you just let it die? Because now that's a -2 that's just gone off of Hina, so it seems like he just counters out with a 1K. Ice Age. And then Gecko time. Gonna get back Rob Lucci, gonna get back the Toshigi. So Rob Lucci's gonna come down and KO both the Gecko and the Hina. And now it's just gonna be a Toshigi search, and it looks like that Toshigi search actually whiffed. Ooh, and you hate to see that, but you definitely hate to see that. So this is going to be a big Rob Lucci swing here, of swinging in for 9K, and then just going to swing straight up. And then Arnold ends up taking it, it looks like. Yeah, just unable to see the counters and stuff that you need to see there. So yeah, and sometimes that's what the Sakazuki mirror just comes down to. Sometimes you just see cards that you need to see, and sometimes you just don't see the cards that you need to see. So shout outs to Arnold getting that dub over Yonas. Very well played by both players. I know Sakazuki mirrors are not the the most exciting in the world, but it's always good to see top level players playing at their best in these Sakazuki mirrors and stuff like that. It's always very, very fun to watch. I learn a lot from it because I don't play Sakazuki too much myself, but I get to see like different lines and different methods of play and stuff like that. So it's always good to watch and get information, especially knowing that these leaders are going to, specifically Sakazuki, is not going to be around in a few weeks here. I believe at the end of June is when it's going to be coming out of the metagame. So it's fun to see the last little hurrah of stuff there for Sakazuki. So pretty solid. And someone mentioned in the chat that Arnold did come second at Texas Regional, so he's no stranger to top tables either. And I believe he's only been playing One Piece for a short amount of time as well, so that's also really, really good on his part as well. I've seen a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players actually come from to One Piece and doing very well. And Montreal is no stranger to that. I remember last Montreal Regionals last year, I think, we ended up seeing Gabe Vargas, who's no stranger to Yu-Gi-Oh! Tops end up doing well in that tournament as well. So that is very, very good on those Yu-Gi-Oh! Players' part. Maybe Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the game. Well, anyways, so we're going to be going into round number 7. So hopefully only 2 more rounds to go in the tournament here. So we still have quite a few games of One Piece to go. Arnold ended up taking that against Yonas, actually. Just being able to Gecko dance more efficiently, and Yonas unfortunately just didn't have the cards that he needed to see there in the end to just counter out of that, and just couldn't push for game. But kudos to both of them, though. Very good players, very good game to watch and stuff like that. But anyways, well, I'll be back in a little bit for round number 7. Hopefully not too many more games to commentate here. I don't want to go to a round 10 because no one wants to drag on for round 10. But we'll be back in a little bit for round number 7 here from the MTL Regionals. So stay tuned, get hydrated, and I will be right back